Welcome to Grace, Never Heard of Her, the podcast where Grace is, well, I'm still trying to find her. I'm Gina.
And I'm Maddie. And we're finally here. Yay! Recording our first episode.
We did it.
We're only 3 years in the making, but
I
that's okay.
mean, we've had a lot going on in those 3 years, to be fair.
This is true.
This is why we started the podcast, to find Grace, because clearly we haven't
found her yet.
We both moved cross country, sold houses, bought houses, lived in rental houses, all with 2 kids.
Yeah, and dogs.
Jobs. I mean, this is an accomplishment, if you ask me, in 3 years. Could have been worse.
I agree.
I'm so happy we're here.
Me too. All right. So before we get into it, we should probably share a little bit more about who we are.
I would imagine people would like to know a little bit more about who they're listening to talk about life.
Yes. Cool. All right. So I am Maddie. I'm 33, mom of 2 kids, Zoe, who is 4 years old, and Parker, who is 2 years old. Parker is a boy, too. Yes. No, there's Parker girls out there. We have 2 French bulldogs, Luke and Olive, who you might hear me talk about. We call them house hippos. I work full-time as a marketing professional in cybersecurity. My husband Tyler and I just celebrated 6 years of marriage. And as Gina was saying, we just moved back to New Hampshire after living in Texas the past 5 years. Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk again in depth about this, but my daughter was a micro preemie. That experience definitely kind of changed everything in terms of who I am as a person, how I think, how I act, my relationships, motherhood, all of that. I still don't claim to be an expert at anything really, but I do love a good self-help book. I'm trying to make it through the day most days without losing my shit.
From your lips to God's ears. No, I love that. And I'm Gina, so I also have 2 kids. I have 2 boys, Leo, who's almost 4, and Jonah, who's almost 2. So, as people like to say, I'm in the thick of it. I'm 35, going on 36, which is crazy because I am now in like the 35 to 44. Well, and I'm Gina, so I also have 2 kids. I have 2 boys, Leo, who's almost 4, and Jonah, who's almost 2. So, as people like to say, I'm in the thick of it. I'm 35, going on 36, which is crazy. I work in advertising, and I'm on the kind of more the client account management side. And similar to Maddie, I just made a cross-country move myself from Texas, which is, you guessed it, how we know each other, how we met. So we'll get into that. But we now live in Chicago with our dog Mosby and my husband Chris. And so I would just say, aside from my family, which you'll obviously hear me talk about, you're also going to get to know my therapist.
Debbie.
Debbie is she's a household name around here. We all know her. We all love her. In Debbie we trust. She has taught me so much about myself. And honestly, without her, I don't know where I would be. So shout out to Debbie. Shout out to Zoloft, also part of my support group. If you haven't been able to tell, I am definitely more of your overthinking, anxious one. And Maddie is the yin to my yang, and the one who keeps me grounded, the one who kind of just says, hey, we're going to figure it out. It's all going to be good. And I'm like, you're right. Why am I worrying? So that's why we work.